Hi, good evening, one and all. I, Gulshan Kumar, Director of ITM Business School, Chennai. Welcome all the participants from teaching fraternity to the FDP organized exclusively by ITM Business School, Chennai. Amid the pandemic, where the world has gone crazy and are finding new ways to innovate their products and services, teaching domain remains no exception. But there is a silver lining in the cloud. Digital platforms have proven to be boon for teachers across the globe in these trying times. And that shows our readiness to handle exceptional scenarios too. IDM Chennai has always been known for being digital campus even before pandemic. I feel proud to express that we have been regularly operating our classes through multiple digital platforms, including Google Classroom, Zoom, Google Meet, etc. Today, we are here to spread this knowledge of using Google Classroom with all ease and comfort. One of such expert, Dr. Ajita, is with us today to impart the knowledge on how to use Google Classroom like a pro. This is our second program straight within 24 hours. It was just yesterday when Dr. Ajita conducted Train the Trainer program uh, on how to use Google Classroom as a powerful digital tool for a dozen of trainers from Titan I Plus company. I hope that you all will get immensely benefited with this FDP. Happy learning. Thank you for joining us today. Indu,
Thank,
over to
thank you
you.
so much, Gulshan. You can share the host rights to me.
Sure.
Thank you, Gulshan, for the introductions. And so we'll be moving on to the web FTP program. So very good evening, everybody who are present today. Hope everybody is safe and with a good health. On behalf of ITM Business School Chennai, I welcome all the participants to the faculty development program on how to use Google Classroom like a pro by Dr. Ajita, Assistant Professor, ITM Business School Chennai. ITM Business School Chennai is part of ITM Group of Institutes founded in 1991 by Dr. P.V. Ramana. ITM Business School Chennai was established in 1993. The spacious campus is located inside Sipcot IT Park at Siruseri. It is a great experience because the campus is more than 20 years old with exceptional facility and infrastructure. The faculties have more than 10 plus years of experience in educational as well as industrial fields. A flagship ITM PGDM program are approved by AICTE Ministry of HRD and we ranked among 23rd by Business Group B School all over the India and also ranked A++ by Business India in the year of 2019. Without any further delay, we will be moving on to our agenda. Today's agenda of the faculty development program will be introduction of the speaker, followed by the speaker presentation, and the last 20 to 15 minutes will be question and answer session. I kindly request all the participants to raise your queries through the chat window along with your name and email ID. The speaker of the day, Dr. Ajita, will answer all the questions during the question and answer session, but if anything remains unanswered, we will email you within 2 days. Request all the participants to remain in mute for the entire session. Thomas H. Huxley, an English biologist and anthropologist, said, "Try to learn something about everything and everything about something." We are all present here today to learn everything about something. Today we have among midst our very own Dr. Ajita, Assistant Professor, ITM Business School Chennai for this faculty development program. She is an enthusiastic and a motivated person with 10 plus years of experience. She is a soft skill trainer for engineering and management students and as well as for the corporates. She's certified in data science machine learning with Python training, and she's a certified NLP practitioner, and she's also certified in a life coach. She's trained by Anna University Center of Entrepreneurship Development, NEN, and she's also trained students through EdSell to become entrepreneurs by starting their new startups. She has participated and presented various papers in various IIMs. She has conducted various FTPs, workshops in machine learning, Python, business analytics, fintech programs. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for being here. And over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, Indu, I'll be first. I'll try to share my screen and give me the permission. Then I'll start with it.
It's done, ma'am. You can start.
Good afternoon, everybody. Am I audible, Indu?
Yes, ma'am. You're audible.
Okay. Is my screen audible? Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. It is there.
Okay.
Very good at the subject being addressed. Grammar mistakes can be avoided.
Good afternoon, everybody. Dear faculties, here I am to present FDP on Google Classroom. So you can find here Google Classroom is a product of Google. As we use Google, our Google Forms and like our Google Docs, Google Excel, Excel sheet and everything, we also have a new product which has been brought by Google, which is known as your Google Classroom. And Google Classroom is completely to create a classroom virtually. As we are amid of the pandemic, this is a very important situation where we have to conduct our classes virtually. And collection, and you can have an one-to-one interaction by means of your Google Meet or Zoom calls. But provided, how will we be able to collect the assignments? How do we want to conduct some quiz or internal assessments and everything? How are we going to do it? So that is the main challenge of a faculty. So here Google Classroom comes with a solution for all those problems, what we think we require it as of now. And now this is one of our need for the hour. And let's get into the topic. So Google Classroom, it was created initially with the So Google Classroom is a free web service developed by Google for schools. That is mainly it was aiming at your, it was purely aimed at the, 1 minute, I'll erase this. Okay. Okay. So Google Classroom is a free web service which was developed by Google for the schools, which was aiming purely for simplifying the creation of distributing and grading assignments in a paperless way. It really creates an interaction between a teacher and a student. So you can find that it is the benefits of this tool is it is very easy to assess the materials. The materials is very easy. It can create a mere differentiation, and any of your work is not been lost. As like paper, it is not been lost, and it's paperless. So less paper can be done, and it is very it saves your money, and it is very easy to set up. There is no setup as such. Like your Gmail, you can have a app which is Google Meet can be had, or a web or a link of classroom.google.com can be used. That's the main of this. So there is nothing like, there is nothing very specific as your, how do you require to set up and all those. And it is a very good software where you can track your students. That is the main thing about your Google Classrooms. So next, like, do students need a Gmail if you want a Google Classroom? No, merely it's not required. The main requirement of a student is they have to go with your G Suite ID. What is G Suite ID? There is a difference between Gmail and G Suite. So the main difference is nothing but Gmail is our personal account. It does not comes under the organization. So what is your G Suite is? It comes under your organization account, like your under your business or under your enterprise, whatever mail ID is being created under Google, that is known as your G Suite account. So what is the difference? If not, will it not get opened in Gmail? Of course, it gets opened in Gmail, but we will not have a few features which have been available, like integrating of Google Meet in Google Classroom. All these are not been available in which is not available in your Gmail account, which is only available in your G Suite account. Either you have to go separately for each and everything, but here it is not like that. Your G Suite account integrates everything. That is the main difference. So that is the main difference between using a Gmail account and a G Suite account. So let's first, what do we require is virtually creating a classroom. So let me tell you how to create a classroom. Okay, so you can have your G Suite account or your Gmail account generally, and you can see at the right top corner there is the 9 dots. Click on it. So once you click on it, you will get all the products of Google. So drag up and down to take the product, which is Google Classroom. So Classroom is there. So click on it. Once you click on that, this is the page this opens for your Google Classroom. Automatically it goes to classroom.google.com. So you can find this page, and you can see at the right top corner, you can find next to that 9 dots, there is a plus symbol. The plus symbol tells you whether you want to create or join it. Whether do you want to create it or do you want to join it. This is what is given by your plus symbol. So your teacher needs to create a class. Your student needs to join a class. For example, if we are a student and if we are being mentored by somebody, then we have to join. Otherwise, as a faculty, we all need to create a class. We are not supposed to join it. We are supposed to create a class. So click on create class. So once you click on create class, this is the pop-up which comes out asking our permission. So click on that pop-up. I have read and understood the above notice, and I am not using classroom. I am not using classroom at a school with students. So go make it a tick mark. So once you make a acknowledgement, you will be asked to continue. So you wanna click on the continue button. So once you give continue, it will ask you to create a class. So create a class consists of information such as which class do you require, class name, section, subject, and room. So give all this information. For example, the class I have given over here is PGDM batch. First year is my section. If you have 2 or 3 sections, you can give it as A, B, C, and all those. And your subject is leading and managing organization. And the class room number 2 has been allocated for this. So now I have to click create. Once I click create, automatically your classroom gets created. So this is the outlook of the classroom as soon as it gets created. Okay, so you can go to the page of classroom.google.com. You can see number of classes you have created. The same way, you can also see the number of classes you are found to be the student of it. Both can be viewed through this. So after this, you can find there is a your staff creates a classroom. Now we'll see how does a student joins as a student, how can he join? He or she can join. So there are 2 possibilities to join. One is, you can find here, enter a class code. A class code can be given and everybody can be invited. It is an open call to everybody. If anybody knows about the your class code, everybody can get in. That is the main thing about your class code. And second one is individually send an invitation. Once you send individually an invitation, students will be able to join the class as soon as you accept an invite. So both of that can happen. So you can find here, this is known as your class code. At the left, you can find your class code. I'll tell you how to generate this, and automatically it gets generated. Your class code is the same until your class room is created and it is getting deleted. The class code remains the same. There is no difference in your classroom class codes. Everything are the same. So here in the right hand side, you can find that there is something known as invite page. So this is the invitation what can be given. As I told you, there are 2 things. One is sending a class code, and as a commonly everybody can be allowed to join. Anybody, for example, if you are creating a class code for 200 students, 200 invitation, if you feel it is hard, you can send a SMS or you can send a WhatsApp message telling that this is the you can project it telling that from my website take the class code, so that everybody can join the class code. So that is a common way. There is no security in class code. But in an invite page, you do not know. You can obviously we'll get both the sites. We'll get the database collected. But even then, class code is a common one. Until you do not know a student, can also enter inside. But provided invite page is giving an individual invitation to everybody. That is very it gives much more security. That's the main difference between your class code and invite page. So now let's see how to join using the class code for a student. So as we saw, as soon as the page gets open for a teacher, in the left side you can find there is something known as class code. 6S2Y, I47, I4X, this is the class code automatically which gets created. So once it is automatically created, this class code can be shared with the students. This can be purely shared with the students. So how do you share it? It is purely by means of your other ways. You can SMS them, WhatsApp and all those, or share in the classroom, telling them this is the class code. So what they are supposed to do is, you can also just click on it, you will get an elaborate class code can be seen. Again, click one more click will give you a full screen. With the right you would have seen, or there was a screen was full screen. So you can get this number and you can share with your student. A screenshot of this can also be shared with the student. So now students views it. So here in this plus symbol, there is something known as join class, which we saw. So once we click on the join class, you can find that you have to ask your teacher for the class code. Then you can enter it here. So here we have shared, as a teacher, I have shared my class code. So by entering it, the student will be able to join my class. Click on join. So automatically you will be joining my class. So now the student, this is how the student views the page. So a student has automatically got into this page. So your database will be automatically stored inside the in people page. I'll tell you at the next stage. Okay, so these are the things that the student will be able to see: stream, classwork, and paper. And now we'll see what is the difference between a teacher screen and a student screen. The main difference is, this is the left side is your teacher screen and the right side is your student screen. You can find that in your teacher screen, you will have something known as streaming, class, people, and grades. Grades is nothing but your mark which has been allotted for a student. In the right hand side, you can find that there is only stream, classwork, and people. There is nothing known as grades. So what does it mean is, there is no, a student cannot see his grade, and like he can see his individual grade, but not for the whole class. But a teacher will be able to see for the entire class. That is the difference between a teacher's view and the student's view. Otherwise, more or less everything are the same. Stream page can be viewed, classwork page can be viewed, but provided you will not be able to view your grades of your entire classroom. So next is, on clicking this, you can change the theme of the page. So how will you be able to change the theme of the page? This is the teacher's view. So there is, on the right hand side, you can find something known as select theme. So click on your select theme. Because I didn't want this to happen, because I can see there is a swimming pool picture. I don't want this in my classroom. So I want to change my theme. If you click on that, you'll have different options: general, English, math, arts, sports, and others. So you can select the picture which suits your classroom. So based on the class, what you're handling, you can choose your picture. If I'm not still satisfied, I can also upload a customized photo of mine. So I can go for upload photo. So once I upload a photo, select a photo from your computer. So local computer where I'm using it, I'll start to select it. So once I select, I have to click select class theme. So once the select class theme has been selected, automatically you will be uploading the picture. So uploading happens and the picture changes. So now you can find the theme of this changes. This is the first thing in your classroom creation. So now we'll go through each and every pages of creation. What is the use of it and what is the main purpose of it? So first one is your stream page. You can find here, this is the stream page. So stream page is something equivalent to that of your Facebook page or your LinkedIn page, where everything gets streamed out. Any information which you want to pass it to a student, you can just stream it out, and all the students can, they get individually to their mail IDs also, they get intimation telling that your staff has posted something new over there, go and see to it. so that they'll click and come to this classroom and see whatever gets streamed. You can tell, you can give assignments, you can make streaming of your assignments or some questions or provoking some quiz on it. Whatever you want, you can stream it here. That is the main use of your stream page. So anything that you want to intimate from your classwork, you're giving a quiz assignment, everything gets streamed in your stream page. But provided individually also from a stream page also, you will be able to just get into it. So let me tell you how it will be happening. So in your stream page here, you can see your box where it shows share something with your class. So something your teacher needs something to be shared with your class, you can give it over here. So for example, once you, there are three options of sharing. Either you can post it right away, or pick a date and you can post it later. Either you can pick it and you can post it later, or save it as a draft. For example, I started, but then I found that it is taking so much of time. So let me wait for some time. That can also happen. So now, like, I'm going into it. I made a click on it. So it is asking me which class do you require it? Do you want 2 or 3 more classes, or this is the only class which you want? So I'm just making a intimation on it. This is the only class which I require. Do you want this to be given to all the students or to specific students? So I'm giving it to all the students. So what is the information that you want to pass? So share with your class. So I am giving it, good morning students, welcome to the class, and all those informations I have given. Now, like, I can also add some information file towards it. Either you can also give some what is it? Your file from your Google Drive. You can also give it from your link, any of your link which has been available, or from your local computer, or from your YouTube. 4 of this can be given over it. You can take any of this file from any of this local, any of these folders can be used to share your file. So now, like, once you click on the Google Drive, it is asking me whether you want from your recent things, upload something new, my drive and all those. So I have something which is very recently there. So the history of Nestle, I just made a click on it, the history of Nestle. So now what do I do is I'm posting it. Telling that this is the information what my students want to see this morning. So I'm making a post. So once you click post, it will ask me, as I told you, there will be 3 options. Either you can post it, or you can schedule it, or you can also save it as a draft. So what is that I want to do? I want to immediately post. So I'm clicking post. It is posting my information in my stream page. So now my information is available on the stream page. On my stream page, always the latest information will be available at the top, and the oldest information always moves towards the bottom. So now what do I do? There is something known as your arrow mark which goes to the right and arrow mark which comes to the left. So automatically that is nothing but reuse post. We tell this as reuse post. You can reuse it. You can reuse the same post with some modifications. If you feel that the students have not gone through it, and if you want the students to one more time make use of it, and like you want to give a reminder for them, for all those purposes, you can use reuse post. So click on this link. So automatically what happens is it tells me, like, select the class. This the maybe I have only one, so it shows me a non option. Otherwise it is like it will show me all the post which comes out of it, and this is for this class. Yes, I am selecting, and this is the one which I want to repost. Yes, reuse it. I'm clicking on it, and it is asking me whether you want to create new copies of all attachments. Yes, I don't want the new one, so old one I want to make new attachments. I can also give it. So now, like, reuse. Click on reuse. So once I click on reuse, it tells me it is reusing. So here you can find all those available. So if you want, I can also add some information newly. That's what it asked me, whether do you want to create something new. So if I want, I can also add along with this. So now you add on it. Okay, so now I have changed my comment. Still, if you have not watched, do watch and comment. So now again, it's giving me 3 options. Do you want to post, schedule, or save as draft? So I'm reposting it. So this appears in my stream page. Now it is asking if you can, I can drag and drop the older one. If it wants to come to the front page, I can also drag and drop it. That can also happen. So it is asking me move post to the top. Okay. So now that's all. Or with your stream page. Now let's see how do we want our materials to be uploaded in the classroom, so that all the students will be able to view through it. So they can also download from it. So let me tell you how we are going to add the materials to your classroom. There is something known as classwork, the next page of your entire first page, like streaming page, and your classwork is also available. So now what do? You click on this classwork, and now so click on this classwork. Once this classwork is available, now what do we do is get into this pages. So add materials to your classwork. So that can happen. So how do you want to add material to your classwork? What we do is just go click on your classwork. Once you click on your classwork, you can find there is something known as create. So we are going to create some, what do you want to create? Again, like assignments, quiz or questions or materials, or reuse some of your posts. Anything can be created out of here. So click your create, and first one is uploading your material. So click on materials. So once I click on my material, it tells me, gives me the topic of where your materials has to be. What is your material? What is the topic of it? What is the description? All this can be posted from here. So what do I do is, I just click on give my title. Before giving my title and description, I found that there is no topic which is been assigned under which topic this material gets uploaded. So what I do is, first I try to create a topic. Okay, so click on no topic, where you will also get an option of creating a topic. Now, how do you create a topic? Creating a topic is nothing but we click on it and click a create topic. Automatically, it will be asking you to type it over here. So type your creating a new topic name can be typed over here. So for me, it is like Unit 1 Introduction to Management. So once I have clicked on your title, now what you do is you go to your title page, and now you give your title for your material. Introduction to Management, Evolution of Management Thoughts. This is perfectly given. So once this is given, come to your description. So in description, this topic explains about the evolutions of management, and go through the presentation for more insights. This is what we have given over it as the description. So once this has been done, you can either add existing one, or you can also create something. Creating is nothing but your creation from your Google Documents, Google Form, Google Presentation, Google Sheets can also be used. That is known as your create. So now get into click on add. So once you add it, you will find again the same options of Google Drive is there, link is there, your file is there, and your YouTube. Wherever you want, you will be able to just collect your information from there. So what we do is we go to our insert file using Google Drive. So I have I'm uploading from a Google Drive, so I can upload it. Just give a click on it. So just I made a click. I also uploaded from I'm uploading from a local computer. So I made a click on it. So I'm clicking the file which I require to upload. Now it shows me it's uploading, and my file will be uploaded. So it'll once it has been uploaded, it'll give me again 3 options, whether you want to post, schedule, and save. So once it is all done, I'm posting it. I don't want you to schedule. Suddenly I want it to be posted, so I'm posting it directly. So once it is getting posted, you can find that in the classwork page, it gets streamed as your under Unit 1 Introduction to Management, you will have the topic. This automatically gets streamed in your stream page too. Okay. Any other file, if you have tried somewhere introducing, if you have tried somewhere drafting something, that will also remain in your file. Don't ever worry about in your Google Classroom, anything when you started to work and you left in the middle because of some network issues and everything, it will all remain in your drafts. No issues of deletion of any of your document. Everything remains in your draft. So you can use it later. You can click it, again modify it, reuse it. That those all are allowed in your classwork page. So now, like, how do we add your assignments to your classroom? How will you add your assignments? So let me tell you, go to create and click your assignment, which has been available over there. So click your assignment. It will again show the same similar page, similar to that of message. Sorry, material, but here the topic will be assignment. So under assignment, give the title. So my title for my assignment is company report, creation of a company report. And the instruction, what do I give them is, I'll give them a website, visit the website, and there will be a link which I'll provide below this in this assignment. Choose an industry of your choice from there, And out of that, you have to take the number one company in that particular industry and collect some information and prepare this report. This is what is the instruction what I have given to my students. So now I want to add. What do I want to add? Two things I want to add. One is submit in the form of a report. So report, either they can submit of their own or you can give a format for it. That can be added. Another one is I have told very clearly, visit the website linked below. So I am going to give a link for them. So that can also be added. So first, let me add the link for it. So once I click it, I give a link. So add link and automatically the link is being updated. So the student has to click this and get the information from this link. Or I can also create it. So a report format, I'm creating a report format. As I told you, create button can go with your Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, Google Drawings, and your Google Forms. Now I go with your create. So what do you want to create? I want to create a document. So what I do is I just click on docs. So once I click on docs, it is asking me whether do you want a blank one or what. Yes, I require a blank one. I don't want an existing one. So I just click on. The main advantage of Google Documents is you do not want to save it. It automatically gets saved in your Google Drive. So now like I'm giving a format. Google report has been given. Cover page is there. Table of content is there. Executive summary is there. So company overview and all this I have given. This is the format in which the student has to save. So automatically it gets saved. You can change your company report. The name is, you can see initially it was untitled document. So now I'm giving it as company report. So once I do that, I come over here and now I can find that it has been attached. So now like, no, it gets like, it does not get attached. I have to again add that document from Google Drive. So give add and go to Google Drive. So now it will show me the report which has been saved automatically in Google Drive. So company report, just make a click on it. Now it gives me again an option. What are the three options given to me is, the student can view the file. They can view the file alone. They'll not be able to do any modification. You can send it. Or they can also edit the file. They can edit the file if it is a common one file you are doing and a group of students you have given some activity. Everybody can will be given the permission of editing it. Or you can also make a copy for each student. Individually for each of the student, you can give a copy of it. Yes, I want this to be individually given so that they can open here and type all the content in the same document and save it and send it back to me. That is my idea. So what should I select now is make a copy for each student. So I'm making a copy for each student. So once I click on make a copy for each student, automatically what happens is the individually a student gets their report. Now here you can find the report's name is company report. But when the student views it, they'll have their own name in front of this company report. That is the main advantage of making a copy for each student. So now what should I do? Is it for the entire class? Yes, for the entire class. For all India students, yes, make it. And now like what is the mark which has been assigned? That is the points column. So in points, I have to assign the number of marks I have to give for the subject. So for this subject, for this assignment, I'm assigning 10 marks. Okay, it shows me ungraded. Ungraded is I have not still evaluated it. That is the meaning for ungraded. So, okay, I have not ungraded. So 10 marks is my marks which has been allotted. Is there any due date? Yes, of course. On 27th, they have to send it back to me. And time is option. If you would not give a time, it is optional. If you do not give a time, it will take it as 27th night, 11:59 p.m. That is the time which it takes. So now like I'm giving it, it's only Friday, June 5th, they have to do it, which means on the end of June 5th, they'll be able to do it. It accepts until 11:59. So whether do you want to accept late assignments, late submissions, or do you want to stop it? Everything is in our control. So I'll tell you how to do that. So now like you can choose your topic. Either I have already given unit 1 introduction to management, or does it comes into some other topic, then you have to create topic. Anything is possible. So now like give your topic. Once your topic is given, now you can find something known as rubric at the below. Rubric is nothing, as it gives in this pop-up tells you very clearly. It is it tells the student or the person to whom you have given the assignment, how can you evaluate this? That is the main purpose of this rubric. How can you evaluate this? That is the main purpose of this rubric. So now like I am clicking here rubric. So under rubric, it tells me there is something known as create rubric. So I am now creating a rubric. So rubric is nothing but telling a student how I'm going to evaluate this assignment. That is the main important thing of your rubric. So rubric pops up. So once rubric pops up, you can see here, you can either you can use scoring, or I can do descending way, ascending, sort by order, and all those you can do. But the main thing is here, what criteria do you want to do, criterion description and point. Maximum point first and then give a plus 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 and add on with each of your point. I'll tell you. See here. So my valuation is based on the spelling, grammar and punctuation. If it exceeds expectation, I'll give you 2.5. If it meets expectation, I'll give you 2 marks. Or if it is good, I'll give you 1.5. And if it is average, I'll give you 1. I have neatly described everything. Now I have assigned totally the highest mark will be taken. So you can find there it is 2.5 is the highest mark taken for this valuation of spelling, grammar and punctuation. And out of here, you can find, you can also give a description. So your content should be extraordinary, which is exceeds expectation. And if it is good, your content is found to be good. If it is average, it is found to be average. And if it meets expectation, it should be best. So this is a description which I'm giving. And you can find that it's totally 5 marks. So one more, I have also given one more criteria in which I'll be evaluating. So there is a three dots near to this mark, slash 2.5. So once I click those 3 dots, you can find it will ask me whether do you want to duplicate the criterion or delete this criterion. I want to duplicate it to make one more criterion. So I have just duplicated because the same criteria I'm going to follow. So I have just duplicated. You can find it over here. Exceeds expectation and everything is the same, but provided the reason is content of the report. Based on the content of the report is my one more evaluation which I'm making. So based on that, so totally 2.5 comes to my 5 marks. So now you can find rubric tells me it has been validated for 5 marks, but I have assigned 10. Either I have to add 2 more rubric criteria for evaluation and make it as 10, or I should convert my point to 5 points, which is 5 marks. Either of this should be done. Both should be equal. It should be equalized. Only then it means that you are providing 10 marks and you are also validating for 10 marks, or you are giving 5 marks and you are also validating it 5 marks. So what do I do is I'm changing my points value. I'm converting it to 5 and I'm intimating instead of 10 marks and I'm assigning 5 marks for this assignment. So now again it gives me 3 options. Either you can assign it as such, or you can schedule it, or you can save it as draft. These all are available. So it depends on my requirement. I can assign it as such, schedule it, or save as draft. So here I am assigning it. Just click on assign. It will ask me. Students will see the assignment in the streams immediately. Yes, immediately they can see to it. So what do? I assign it. Okay, students will see the assignment in their stream immediately. So now you go to your classwork page. You can find there is something known as this assignment has been turned. So as of now, for example, I have only assigned 1 student. So it has been assigned to 1 student. That's what it tells me. It has been assigned to 1 student and turned in as 0, which means like nobody has resubmitted. Only everybody have tried to. For everybody the assignment is assigned, but nobody has resubmitted. That is the intimation of this. So now you can find that in your stream page also, this information gets streamed out, telling that your staff has posted a new assignment, which is company report. So the same thing gets posted in your stream page too. So this is how it goes with. You can just stream it, all your classworks, which comes in your classwork, get streamed in your stream page too. Now you can come over here and you can find the same thing remaining. You can, as a staff, we have to give view assignment. Once you give, click on the view assignment, which is at the bottom of this unit 1, introduction to management, view assignment. Once you give that, you can find this page opens, which is nothing but your instruction page and the student's work. So this is the instruction what I gave to my student. And at the top, you can find at the left side, due date is on June 5th, and that is 5 points. Both of that can be seen from here. And next you can find your student work. Click on student work. It tells me that it has been assigned to 1 student and he has not turned back. That is the report which tells from this their end. So now like 5 points. I can also do my sorting by means of my last name, my first name, or the status. Status is nothing, turned in or assigned. These are my status. I can do this to have a look on it. So now, so these are the things with your classwork. This is how your classwork happens. Much more classworks are available. Quiz can be also be given. I'll share it next. So before that, next to the pages, people page. I hope you can remember it. So people page is the page where you can invite your staffs and your co-teachers. So teachers, you can find a plus symbol next to it. If you click on that, it'll ask me, do you want to include a teacher, co-teach your subject? Yes, if you have 2 teachers share a subject or co-teach, or if you have an academic coordinator who wants to understand what portions has been covered, or your HODs or anybody who wants to be a part of this, you have to give a invite to them, and they'll be able to do everything else. In only one thing will not be possible, which is like they will not be able to delete the group. That is the only thing which they cannot be do. Otherwise, they'll be eligible to do everything. So this is the people page, and next down you can find there is something on a student page where this plus symbol tells you very clearly who are the students you want to invite. As I told you, there is 2 ways of joining the group, either by means of your class code or by inviting. So inviting comes over here. The students plus symbol is there. You just click on and give their mail ID. Individual mail goes to them, and they'll be joining this. That is the only thing out of it. So now, like individually, I want to see the student has what he has done. Just I click on the student, and it tells me like this company report has been assigned to them, but he has not come back. So how does a student views the same? So let me show you how the student views the same. The student views the same in this format. They see it in the form of classwork. Under classwork, this assignment is being viewed by them. So once they give view assignment, this is how they view it. This is the viewpoint of the student. So this is how they view it. So you can find for them the due date is available, the rubrics is available, and the document goes in individually their name. So as it is a demo, I have given my own mail IDs as my student. So like my name comes over here. So this is the name which has been used as the name of the student. So automatically my record comes in own name. For example, if you have a student name like named as Rajesh, Sheila, Lada, and all those, now the document names comes in their own names. Lada, Sheila is the name of the document, and hyphen company report will be there. I'll show it much more elaborately. So now I want to see what is this document. So just click on it. Once you click on, I can see here name of the student plus your company report. So once I click on, I can see the company format. Okay, I feel like the company format is there, but I want to send a different document. I can also do that, or I can also modify in this and say there is not required to save it because automatically it gets saved. So you do not want to do that. Automatically it happens. So what I felt is like as a student, what I felt is I don't want to disturb that format. I'll use it format and send a new report. So now I'm clicking on add or create. So there something comes as file. Inside your file, you can upload your file which you have locally created in your device. Or do you want to create a new document, slide sheets, drawings, and anything? You can go to create new. So now here I'm clicking on file. I have an existing file, so I upload my file. So uploading happens, and now it tells me 2 documents are there if I want to send it. And hand in, you can find after below this plus add or create, there is something known as hand in. Once you click it, it will ask me 2 attachments will be submitted for company report. Is that okay? If I'm okay, I have to give a submit. I have to give a hand in or cancel and do a modification and again do it. So there is no button on a submit for a student. There is known as hand in, giving in hand. There is a meaning for that. So they are handing in their assignments towards the teacher. So hand in works. So now it comes as unsubmit for the student. If they want to further make some modifications in the existing submissions, they can go with your unsubmit and they can do their changes and resubmit it back. They have to resubmit it in the form of, once you give unsubmit, it will again appear for the student as hand in. So you have to just make a click on it. Again, it will be resubmitted. This is the student view of it. The view of your Google Classroom. How does it work under your student point of view? Now, let me tell me again the teacher point of view. So now the student has finished his assignment and it has turned to me. So I have assigned 1 and it has also turned 1. Now, turned 1 and assigned this 1. So for your better understanding, I have assigned, I have included 1 more student. So now the classroom consists of 2 students, out of which 1 has turned in and 1 has not submitted. 1 has been assigned but has not submitted. So let me tell you what happens. So now I can make a click on the view assignment. I can find that Ajita has submitted 2 documents, just turned in. Instead of 1, she has submitted 2, but Huxley has not even opened his document, or he has not submitted it. The time has not come and he has not submitted. So this is the requirement for me. And now this page you can see as a whole. In the left hand side, you can find next to turn in, you can find /5. For 5 marks, I have to award some marks. So that comes over here. But do you want to view it and do it? If you do not create a rubric, again, rubric is not a mandatory one. If you do not create a rubric, just you can go through the document, give your marks as such. If you do not want your student to know how you are evaluating it, just open the document, go through it, and you can assign your marks and leave off. There is no mandatory compulsion that you have to create a rubric. Rubric is again an optional. So I have created a rubric, so I can give it over the marks over from the document. So let me show you how it happens. So click on these two attachments. So it shows me. So now let me explain how to grade the assignments, giving marks for your assignments. So once it comes over there, I can see the report which has been sent by the student. So instead of company report, I opened it. It was only a format which I have sent to the student. So again, I'm opening the sample report which the student has sent over to me. So you can see at the right hand side, files are available. Sample report is also available. Company reports. So you can click which you require to be graded. So now you can find the document. The document can be sorted by last name, by first name, again by status. Status is assigned and turned in. That can be done. So it depends on us. And here you can find next to these files, there is a 3 full line and 2 small line with a tick mark that is known as grading. So once you click on that grading, you will be available to grade. Until then, you will not be available to grade. So now we'll be able to grade it. So grading, we have told the student how we are going to grade. It is based on spelling, grammar, punctuation, and the content of the flow. So for the spelling, grammar, and punctuation, we are assigning 2.5 marks, and for the content of the flow, we are assigning 2.5 marks. So now you have to grade. You have to go through the document, and now you have to grade. So for here, I have gone through the document, and I have given 2 marks for spelling, grammar, and punctuation. As I found, there are here and there are some spelling and grammaticals and punctuation errors. And for content of the flow, I am happy with the content, so I am giving them 2.5. So totally, this is the mark that has been given. So now you do not want to assign, as rubric has been given. Just put your mark over here. Automatically, these marks get computed in your Google Classroom. You do not want to do. And top, you can find it is only drafted. You have only just given your marks. You have not sent it back to the student. And here it tells you very clearly not returned, which tells you that return. If you click on return alone, only the marks goes to the student. Otherwise, it remains not returned. So before that, we'll also see some more things that are available in the document. You can also give privately, comment them. Have to be very conscious on the punctuation. Because of that, the student has lost 0.5 marks. So I'm giving a comment telling that you have to be very conscious on your punctuation. Private comment has been given. Now, apart from that, even if I want to make some additional comments, I can make it. You can find here there is a plus symbol with a small deviated your box symbol. So like it highlights an area to a comment. So I can click on it. It will tell you once you click on, you have to highlight the area which you give it. So like sample report, I'm highlighting and I'm writing. The heading should not be a sample report. The heading should be company reports. I have made the comment over there and I'm posting the comment. So the comment get posted. As soon as the student opens the document, student will be able to see all the comments which you have given. So I found that multiple times the punctuation error is there, the spelling error is there. So each time I do not want to make a comment telling that punctuation error is there, spelling errors are there. So what do I do is, there is something known as comment bank. So I go to the comment bank and click on the comment bank and I create some comments for me, add to bank. So what is that you want to add? Hash to identify that I'm using the simple. You can start with hash, star and all those. So like repeatedly the same thing if you are giving, this is one way of, very professional way of telling it. So I'm giving hash spelling. So now like it is asking me, do you want to add? Yes, I do want to add. I'm adding it. So see here, I can select what is there and I can give what error does it mean, either a punctuation or a spelling. So from my bank, comment bank, it takes and it automatically gets posted. So multiple punctuation errors are there throughout the document. I can just select all, highlight it and select from my comment box. Either it is a spelling or a punctuation, and then post your comment. Post comment can be provided. So now this, for example, this is not just for your for your understanding. I have made a table of contents. I have told there is a punctuation error, so you can just post it out. So how will you return to the student? Return button has to be clicked. Once you click your return button, it automatically gets returned to the student. Student will be notified and can check any grade you have left, what grade you have provided. Yes, I do want the student to know about their grade. I can give return. So once I give return, it automatically it's returning. And now like we'll see the student view, how the student will be able to see to it. The student will be able to see in this format. Class comment, whatever comments they have given. If the student wants to comment in the class, something has to be done, you can find. Apart from that, you can find 4.5 marks I have given. And for grammar, there was a mistake and hence it comes to the second category of 2 marks. Content of the flow was perfect, so it comes into the first category of 2.5. And any comments which can the student wants to tell me can be commented in private comments. You can find something known as resubmit above. This is like Only if the student has been given the permission of resubmitting, he'll be allowed to resubmit, or he'll not be allowed. I'll tell you where you have to change this settings in the later slides. So now, as of now, the student will be seeing this. So 4.5 marks the student has received. Okay, so now again we'll come back to the teacher's view. So now my turned in has converted into graded. I have graded a student. Your student, again you can find Ajita, the student I have graded. Huxley, the student, has still not given my assignment back. The assignment has been assigned, but provided it has not turned back. So that can be seen over here. So now, like each time you do not want to go to classwork, click on view assignment and see it. I'll tell you the very easiest way of going through it. Go to the left side. This is my class. You can click over there. You can find the classes and you can also find to do. What do you want to do? Click on to do. It will tell me all those things pending from my end as a staff. What are the things it has been pending? Like if somebody else have turned out, if the one student who has been assigned has turned out, I can see it over here. So to do is what are the things a staff has to do and finish it off. That will reminds me of to do. So all those remains over here. So now let's go with your fourth page. We have finished your first page, your streaming page. Second page is the classwork page, and third page is your invite page, which is people page, and fourth one is your grades. Grades is very simple. As soon as you have given your marks, you can find that your grading has been available. 4.5 marks get out over here. So it's been graded. I have given an assignment, I have evaluated it, and I have given 4.5 marks out of 5. So you can see there, the assignment submission date was June 5 out of 5, and I have assigned 4.5. Still the student has not come back. So the mark has not been graded. I have not corrected the paper. So automatically it remains without any submission. This is how the grades will be viewed for a student, for a staff. So now let me explain you how to give a quiz for a student. So we tell here as quiz assignment. So again, go to your classwork, click your create, go to your quiz assignment. So once you click on your quiz assignment, you can find that your again the assignment page similar to that of assignment opens over here. Automatically it will tell you once it gets opened, even as it is a quiz, you will get automatically there is a Google form which gets attached towards that. So now you can give your title, give your instruction, when is the last date for submission. So which is 27th is my quiz, the last date for submission of a quiz is 27th. So I hope I'll finish my unit 1 by 26th. So I have given a deadline as 27. I have told very clearly attend the quiz only after your first unit is over. Maybe I'll be finishing some of the portions on 26th. So few questions from 26th has been also included in the quiz. That is the reason I am telling very clearly. Only after your first unit is over, attend the quiz. This is the instruction what your staff can give it to the student. So a blank quiz has been created. There is no time limit. So until 11:59, they'll be allowed to submit till night. 11:59, they'll be allowed to submit. So this quiz also comes under unit 1. So that has been there. Usually for quiz, we don't have any rubric. So just leave out that rubric column. So now what are we supposed to do is click your blank quiz. So once you click your blank quiz, your quiz gets opened. So this is how, as your Google Forms, your quiz gets open. So we type all your questions over there. It's equivalent to that of your Google Form. One main thing out of this Google Form is if you give short answers, long answers, multiple choice, only if there is a multiple choice, and if you give the choice, perfect choice, automatically the Google Form gets validated, auto correction happens, and automatically the value gets insisted in the grades page. But until and unless we don't do that, if you want to do manually, go to your questions, first assign all the questions. For example, it first reminds us blank quiz. So now like I'm asking the name, so name should be in a short answer. It's not multiple choice, so I'm clicking on short answer. And every of the question, if it is mandatorily to be filled, you have to give required. So you can also copy this question, you can delete this and all those. So plus symbol, which is at the right side, is being used for multiple question creations. So click on that, you will get the next one. So here I'm giving register number. As soon as the form receives Google Form takes the word as number, it automatically gives the below box. Can you see that? Response validation has been added. Automatically it adds. I never asked it, it automatically adds. But if I do not want it, I can remove it off. There is a choice given to me, given to us for as a viewer or as a user of it. So it tells very clearly the number is there, and is it a number? It will check if it is a number. If it is a number, what will it do? It will start to validate and find if it is a number. So that is very mandatorily seen. So it also makes sure it has been a valid register number. So how do you see? So how do you see is very clear. it sees whether is number. So everything is number. For example, if your registration number is 1234, no issues, it will accept it. If your registration number is BA1234, it will not accept, because there is a alphabetical order which is which has been available. It only takes the numbers. So if you do not want your registration numbers are both mix of your alpha and character and numbers, just remove it off. No harm in removing. If it is only number, then it's okay. Otherwise, you can just remove it off. So now, like I'm deleting, I'm making a section. So how do you make section? At the, you saw at the right hand side, there is a plus symbol. At the below, you can find there is a two small rectangles available, which tells you that it is separation. So you can just click on that and section comes out. Under that, I'm giving MP define management as, and the answer should be in the form of paragraph. So I'm clicking paragraph. So answer key is available. I can click on answer key and give the answer key. If it is a single line answer, it automatically evaluates. If it is as it is a paragraph, I cannot give a single answer. So it's asked me for some adding some answer feedbacks. Like if it is good, I can give some feedbacks, and I can also give some links from the local videos, YouTube, and all those links can also be attached to the ad. Like you can find down links can be attached telling that this is where from where I have taken this question from. All those can be given in the feedback. So next, I'm making a section where I'm including some of your MCQs. So who is the CEO of Infosys? So I'm just making it. So once you created your question, you can see here it has been assigned 0. So what is the point you want to give for this question? I am willing to give 1 mark for this question. So I'm changing it as 1 point. So once it has been changed, what do I do is click on your add answer feedback. Once you click on your add answer feedback, it will ask you like if it is an incorrect answer, what should I tell the student? So tell them like please check your answer. This I'm typing, and correct answer, what should I tell them? Tell them that that's a correct answer. So I'm clicking on save, so automatically it gets saved. The feedback for correct answer and the feedback for wrong answer can be found. You can also click the correct answer for automatic correction. I'll tell you one by one. So now here it is like multiple answers have to be taken out. So I am giving check boxes. They have to go with multiple answers. So answer key, if you have the answer key, you can give it out. You can also add feedback for it. So this is how you have to tick your answer keys. If these 3 are available, give them 3 marks. If this 3 is not available, give them 2 marks. Is not available, that you have to do manually. So done. If you give this done, automatically it evaluates. I'll tell you. So like these are the options that are available. Now like you can give drop down. You can give choose correct answer. All these are available. So give some feedback. Again, giving a feedback is not mandatory. It is up to you. If you want, you can have it. If you do not want, it's not mandatory. So done is in, it has to be given. And now I'm asking, who is this? How will I ask who is this? I want to insert an image. So you can find over here, there is a symbol. You can click on that. So this is the image I have uploaded, and I'm asking whether he's Henry Ford or Peter F. Drucker or Henry Ford. And now like, this is the correct answer. So I have done everything and given it done. So if a student correctly clicks on Peter F. Drucker, automatically 1 point gets awarded. This is how auto correction happens in your document. So now I'm making a linear scale where I'm telling them feedback on the quiz, whether it is bad, excellent. Then this is not mandatory, so I don't give require. So feedback has been added. And if you have some multiple grid choice grids to be given, many rows, many columns, that can also be given in your quiz. So it's all your designing of how your evaluation should be. Easiest way of evaluation is giving a multiple choice where the choices are also been given initially and close to your form. Automatically it gets evaluated and your mark gets graded in your sheet. So now here it is not the purpose. Here we have short answer paragraph which cannot be evaluated automatically by the computer. So we have to do it manually. I'll tell you how to do it manually. So now like instead of blank quiz, I'm making it as LMO Unit 1 quiz, and there and at the top bottom also I'm changing the name as LMO Unit 1 quiz. So now it gets added. Automatically the name changes when it goes to the student. You can find it. Again in assign, I have 3 options. Assigning it suddenly, scheduling it for a later day, and third one is you can also save it in draft and post it later. So now you can find, I told you, right, the name will get changed. You can find over here LMO Unit 1 quiz. The name has automatically changed. So for 2 of them, it has been assigned. Nobody has finished and sent it back to me. So that is the information what I can infer. Your due date is available. The time when I posted is available. Today, 12:46 AM. Time is available. The instruction is available. All those are available. Now I can just give a click on the view assignment. This is how. So once you click on view assignment and student work, this is how it shows me. These are the 2 students for whom the quiz is assigned. Now you can find the student view of it. Student view tells us very clearly the LMO Unit 1 quiz is available. The student can open this. Now they'll be able to give the answers for this, descriptions and everything, and then click it on. So once they open this, they'll be able to see only the answer, only the score for the multiple choice question, not for the other question. So what should they do? They have to wait until the teacher returns it back to them. So how will they return it back? This is how it will be shown to them, like 3 answers, only these 2 are correct and this is wrong, and 3 marks. So it does not know to assign 2 marks for this. So which has to be done manually by us. So teacher's view, you can just see here, one student has now turned out. It's out of 2, 1 has not turned, but 1 has turned. So I'm just clicking on this view assignment. Automatically, it will take me to the Google Drive where my form is saved. So you can click on that. Once you click on that, you can go to your response and see all your response one by one. So there is only 1 response. So I do click on that. Now I validate this and I give 1 mark. I validate each and every question. Manually, I validate and I have given my marks. So totally, marks comes to 8 marks. And in your summary, you can find out of 10 points, the student has scored 8 marks. And this is the only paper which I evaluated. The median is also 8 and the range is also 8 to 8 points. So now, like as it is manually has to be done, automatically here your grading has to be entered as 8. Or if you have done everything MCQ, automatically your marks get graded over here and it gets updated here. So now that is not the choice over here. I have given all the types of questions. So individually, I'm entering my marks over here. So now after entering the marks over here, I have to return it to the student for the student to view the answers for it. The student, I'm sending some comments also. So returning it back, so the student can see the marks. The student view will be in this one, 8 out of 10. And here you can find, and the comments can be seen for the student. If the student is allowed to resubmit, they can resubmit. If the student's permission has not been given to resubmit, they'll not be allowed to resubmit. So now you can go and click on your grades page where you can find 2 grades. On March 30th, the student has finished the quiz and gained 8 marks out of 10. And the last date for submission was June 5th, and student has submitted on time and it has been found out of 5. The student has scored 4.5. So totally I can find every of the marks listed over here. That is the reason why the student do not have access to this page, grades. The student only have access to stream, classwork and people because he can see his individual grade. We don't give access to see the entire classroom grade. Individual student will be able to see their own grades alone. So now let me explain you how to integrate Google Meet. So Google Meet, everybody are used to Google Meet now. So from classwork, Google Classwork, how can I integrate and go with my Google Meet? So that is the point which we'll be looking into, and various tips that can be used in a Google Meet can also be looked over here. So automatically, if you click on Meet, Google Meet, you can find this page opens. So this is normal way of doing it. But instead of this, by integrating in Classroom, Google Classroom, how can we do it? We'll see to it. So this is your class. So click on your class. Once you click on your class, you can find that there is something known as your class code and everything over here. So we can find that if you have already created a link, your link can be seen below this class code. We don't have a link. So now we are supposed to generate a link. You just click on your settings. You can, okay. So we'll see how to enable your Google Meet in Google Class. So just click on the settings. You can find over here. There is it has been highlighted near this 9 dots at the right top corner. There is something like your wheel symbol. Just click on that. There is a settings. So once you click on, you can find that there is a comment which comes. Okay, you come down. You can find that there is something known as general, where the class code is available, and you can also find that there is something known as Meet, and there is not, until now we have not generated. We have not linked. This is the link which you have to make. So now you have to click generate Meet link. So automatically it starts generating, and the meeting link is available. Now you can find that that meeting link is found in the first page. So automatically it has been seen in the first page, and it is given very clearly not visible to student, which has to be given by us. Here it gives tells you very clearly visible to student. So if you do not want this to be visible to the student all the time, you want to give a different link to them, you just click on this, it will not be available. Okay. So now the student, if you click on visible, it will be available. If you click on not visible, it will not be available. So now you can see in your class work page, even you can find Meet. This means that your classroom is integrated with your Google Meet. This is a symbol which tells you that your classroom is integrated with your Google Meet. Now, all the time I have the same same meeting ID where the students know about this meeting ID. I want to all the time shuffle it. You can reset all the time. So it gives you different mail, different links are being provided now and then. That is the option of reset. Or you can copy this link and you can post it in your stream page. If you have given the student like not visible to the student, you can each time you can reset and send this link directly to the student by means of your stream page. This is the link today you have to join. You can give this link in your stream page. So once you click on your link, you can click on this link, or from this link can be clicked. From the stream page, the link can be clicked, and automatically you can find it gets into this Google Meet page. Now, like there are 3 dots in this Google Meet page. You can click on that. You will find that there is something known as settings. You can click on your settings before getting into your Google Meet. You can find that whether your audio and video are correct. All those can be corrected over here. So you can find something known as your audio and video. So here the microphone is off. So first switch on the microphone and check your video. Audio clarity. If it is correct, then it's okay. Then click on your video and see your camera is off. Sending resolution and receiving resolution for this computer is this. So now once you click on your computer, you can also find that there are for sending it is like high definition, standard definition. Here it is taking standard. If you want to go to high definition, just do it. It will take some more of your data. That's the only difference. And receiving the resolution is also available. So which is the way in which you want to receive it. Audio only, resolutions, everything, it is your choice. So once you click on all this, give your done. So now your audio and video is perfect. And now we are coming to the first page. I do not want, as a staff, I do not want to show my face. I just want to present my PPT and give the information alone. So if that is the case, at some cases, you can just click on your present. Once you click on your present, your window is open for presenting now. So you can present your document. It will ask you whether you want to give you from your home page or your entire screen you require, or some applications which you require. You can use any of which you require. So I want only some application windows. So I choose which is the window, share it. Okay, so this is how my this PPT has been shared. So in Google Meet, so automatically you can see there is something known as stop sharing. You click on stop sharing, you can come back here, because we never saw who are the people, how many of them are there, nothing has been seen, just we got into the present now option. The only advantage out of this link which has been created out of Google, the main advantage out of this Google Classroom is, the main advantage is only once you enter inside, your students can also enter at the back of you. Once you leave the meeting, your students will also be left. You remain as such a host as in your Zoom. So what happens is automatically, once you log in, your students back after you, your students will be able to log in. And once you leave the meeting, they'll not be able to discuss among themselves. Normal Google Meet that is available, but which has been linked by means of your Google Classroom, that option is not available. So now let's see how to join now. So once you get into join now, it will ask you like your your nickname automatically has been created, which I have not given. From Google Classroom, the name which was available from your link, it has taken automatically. You can add people, any number of people whom you want to get into your Google Meet can be added. You can find over there, turn on caption. Turn on captions. If a student could not understand what you're speaking, it gives you the caption of what you're speaking so that they'll be able to understand. I'll show you in the next slides. You can also record a meeting. If you are a G Suite, if you have an organization enterprise ID, you will be given this permission of recording a meeting. Just click on record meeting. Automatically, you'll be asking like, have you got the concern of all the students who have been available in this meeting, all the people, because without a single person concern also, we are not supposed to do this meeting. So we have to get those concerns. So accept, it starts to record. You can see here, a recording starts. If you want to stop somewhere, you can just click on again and click on your stop recording. Automatically you can get stopped. Okay, stop recording and click to stop it. You can also change your layout in your Google Meet. You can change your layouts, any type of layouts can be changed. If you want to make it full screen, you can give it, and you can escape to exit your full screen. Automatically you come over here. And apart from this, if you during your Google Meet, when you are interacting with your students, do you want some attachments to be made, and do you want it to be shared during your meet, and they want to download it during your Google Meet? That can also be done. That can be, but actually that can be done by means of scheduling your meeting. So let me tell you how to schedule your meeting by means of your Google Classroom. Automatically you know how to schedule your Google Meet by means of Google Calendar. Now the same calendar is available inside your Google Classroom. Separately you do not want to log in. Here Google Calendar is automatically been linked. It is all integrated. So now here you just make a click. Next to your Google Calendar, you can see something known as class drive folder. So whenever a classroom is getting created, automatically your folder known as classroom gets created in your Google Drive. So that is known as your class drive folder. You do not want to go to Google Drive and click it. Just click on here. Automatically you'll be taken towards your Google Drive folder. So now click on your Google Calendar. Once you click on, I want to assign a class on June 1st, as I have done very early, this June 1st. And you can find after that I have done it with the later dates. So now click on it. It'll ask you what do you want to do? What do you want to do on that particular day? So I want to add some Google Meet video conferencing. Give your add session. And here, before this, first what you're supposed to do is on the date, June 1st, go to create, which is in the left hand side below that calendar. You can find click create. Once you click create, this comes. So, or on particular date, you can just make a double click. So add title, you're giving a title and going towards your more options. What are the more options that are available? Under more options, you can find there are n number of options available. This is the session which we have given. And apart from that, you can find the date, the timings are available. 1, 2, 3. So take your timings. This is the time of your start timing. And when does it want to end? 45 minutes you want to end the class, or 1 hour or 1.5 hours. So it depends on our availability. So you can just make a click on that. So do you want it to repeat it, or daily do you want to have this week on Monday, or monthly on the 4th Monday, annually on June 22nd, every weekdays, whatever you want, or you can also customize each based on your requirement. Then now join with Google Meet. I want to join by means of Google Meet. So maximum 250 participants can meet in a Google Meet classroom meeting ID. So now you can see down there is something known as add attachment. Make a click on your add attachment. You can find something known as select files. So what are the files? From your recent, from a drive, from a shared uploads, you can use it. So here I'm choosing overcoming stress. So this is my PPT which I want to discuss in this class. So I have included here overcoming. So after that, I'll go towards your save. So automatically here there is a save button. Once you click save button and get into your Google Meet, you can find here. This is a session which I have assigned by means of Google Calendar that comes below that. So once I make a click on it, I can find the attachment which has been available. So now during my Google Meet, if I want this attachment to be downloaded, I can give it to them so that it will be easy for your conversations. Now, how to share a video with audio in Google Meet. You want to share, you do not want to download a YouTube page, but provided I want to just share the YouTube page directly. How can I do it? You have to do only one thing. What is it is? Just click on the, in your Google page, there will be a small 3 dots at the right hand side. Just click on it. There's something known as cast. Click on this cast. It will tell you looking for devices, and it will tell you there is no device. But now again, you can find, once you click on, you can find this icon automatically coming over there, but this will be available only for one time. So now I want it to happen all the time. So click on always show this icon. So automatically this icon sticks towards your Google Chrome. So once that has been given, it will ask you whether you want to enable all your cloud services for cast. Yes, I do want to enable. So click on that. Now again, once you click on, it will ask me casting. Can I cast this page? Do you want this page to be casted? Yes. Okay. So what do I do is this page, okay? So in my unit 1, introduction to management, I want to show my students about Steve Jobs talk about managing people. So what do? I go over there, and now you can go to your Google page. This is your Google meeting. You can find over here. You do not want to download anything, just cast it over there. So my Google, my YouTube link automatically gets casted over here. And you can find over here. And I felt what Steve Jobs speaks is not very clear. So now I can turn on my turn on caption. So it is on, and whatever he speaks from YouTube, it's been just the words comes over there. There and here, small drawbacks will be there. Some of the words may change here and there, but no issues. More or less, the words are very perfectly seen over there. Problem to make new products, to make new marketing programs. You can see it. Okay, this is the caption. So now who has presented is also being seen over here. I do not, my casting is over. Once I want to stop it, just click on the same icon and you can stop your casting, automatically stop your casting and go over here. If you want to have different camera for yourself, you can go with the snap camera. You automatically it gets you different camera view. And where we saw instead of video, what is the video you want to look? There it came as camera off, camera on. There you have to click on and you can take your snap camera, where snap camera will help you to give a different background. Where I am in, for example, if I'm, I want to share something about about vacation. Maybe a vacation video can be background can be chosen for me. So you can use Snap Camera to your Google Meet. Okay. So now let us go through. These are the main things about your Google Classroom. So now let us go through some of the important settings what we want to do whenever we want to go with your disabling and all those things. So how to disable the class code and Google Meet link? How will you disable it? So once you can find here at the right side there is a wheel symbol next to the 9 dot. Click on that. There is a setting. Once you click on that, you can find that there is a class code which has been available. So click on the class code. You can find something like display, copy, reset, disable. So no, I do not want it to happen. I want to disable the class code. My student do not want to join by means of this. I have to individually give an invite and they want to join back. So what I can do is I can disable it, disable. Once you have given disabled and given a save button, automatically you can find that here the code is disabled. Even if the student opens it, the code will not be visible for the student, so that he will not be able to share the code with his friends out of a different college and give him the code and ask him to join instead of him. Those things may not be available. To predict all those or to secure from those things. And the best security is again resetting, frequently reset your Google link, Meet link. That is also a secured form of your Google Classroom. So now like it remains disabled. So visible to students. If I do not want to make it again, do not click on your visibility. So save it. Here you can find it is not visible to the students. So go to your classes. So once you click on classes, there is a different setting. This is a setting what I told you. Once you click there, you can find your own profiles. Like if you want to change your profile photos, you can change it. Notifications, anything, receive email notifications. If your student submits something, submits assignments, finishes a quiz, everything has been intimated by means of your email. Gmail, usually your G Suite IDs are being used, or Gmail. So if I do not want, there are a number of mails which is coming each for every action what they make. If I get an email, then you can also stop it down. For comments, okay, do you want your students to comment on your post? I do not want anybody to comment. I can just close it off. Comments that mentions you, I do not want anybody else to see it. Just close it off. Private comments on work, do you want it or do not want it? Yes, you can see. And class you teach, which is like after late submission, do you want them to submit? Even if it is late, do you want to submit? Then you have to just see to this link, and if you want to allow them to resubmit, your late submissions can be done. What you can do is you have to just wait and just make it disabled so that late submissions cannot be made. They will not be able to submit after your due date. They will not be able to submit. So that has been this settings. Staff has to give it to the student. During your creation of your classroom, the settings can be done, and so that or now and then if you want to change for some assignments, you want them to lately submit, you can just enable it. For some assignments given now you do not want it to do, you can just go and do it. That's all remains in the hands of the teachers. So resubmission of student work is also available. If they want to correct it back and send it, they can also do it. Or invitations to co-teaching classes can be done, you have to do it. Scheduled post published or failed, or do you want to do any scheduled things, posting it, publishing it? This all remains in our hand. So how do you want it to happen? So now let me tell you how to take your attendance in Google Classroom. So main thing for a teacher is taking an attendance. In Google Classroom, you can create an assignment. Using an assignment, you can also do it, and you can also take your attendance by means of your Google Meet. Two things are available. So first, let me tell you how to take an assignment in your Google Classroom. So go to your classwork, go to create. You can create a question. Okay, you can click on question. Question will be like you can ask any type of questions usually. So here, what do I do is I make the title as attendance. Instruction is mark the attendance by answering yes or no. That is the only thing they want to do. So it is a multiple choice. I give it, and I'm asking like mark your attendance. Have you come? Just attend it. Otherwise, don't. If no, leave it off. Even if you don't do it, I'll be considering you as not present. So go towards your right side. Does it for whom? For all the students, what is the mark you want to give? Usually I give 1 mark, because like if they are absent, I can give 0 so that it is easy for calculation. Due date and time, you can give a time. For example, you can on 22nd by 2:15 or 2 o'clock, I'll give this question to them. Before 2:30, I'll close it off. What happens? Between that, whoever is available will only be able to answer to that question, so that I can take attendance between 2 to 2:30, telling that you have to be in the class and all those. Virtually, how to manage them. So now what do I do is June 22nd on 2:30 is the due time I have given. The topic is attendance. I do not want to find the students can see class summary for their classes. No, I don't want that happen. So make a tick mark on that. Now I can go to ask. Again ask, it will ask me, do you want to schedule, save as draft, ask it as of now. So I want to schedule, I'm making a schedule. What is the schedule? On 22nd at 2:15 a.m. or p.m. you can give, actually it is p.m. So like 2:15 p.m. it starts and 2:30. Between the 15 minutes of time, I want the attendance to be collected. So you can schedule it. So now like it has been asking, it goes. So now the student will not be able to view this. They will be able to view this only on June 22nd at 2:15 p.m. They'll be able to do this. And unfortunately, mistakenly I made it as AM, it is PM. So 2:15 p.m. they'll be able to, as soon as 2:15, they'll get a pop-up in their mail telling that the attendance sheet has been produced. They have to give their attendance. So nobody sees to it. By 2:30, you can mark it very easily as absent. So now like I have assigned it to 5. Out of 5, 4 has turned and 1 has been assigned. 1 has not still done. But my assignment time is later, so there is no negative mark. Otherwise, it will show us on 22nd, on June 22nd of this month. If I open after 2:30, it will show me how many of them are late, how many of them have given no. If they are not coming to the class, they'll be giving a no. Even before or after that, they can give it. So now like 4 students have turned out. I can give a mark as 111 so that everybody's marks are given. I want to know at which time he entered into the class. So make a click on a student. Once you see there, you can see there, see history. You can see the history. It tells me very clearly he has entered the class only by 4:15 p.m. Okay, very good. So he has not marked by 2. This is like on 22nd is very late. That's the reason why it does not show late. So this is just a experiment what I made among my students to see how the attendance comes out. So now like click on the settings button. You can find copy all grades to Google Sheet. Do you want it in Google Sheet or CSV? So I'm making a download in a CSV format. It tells me who are the students who have attended, who have come and who have attended all those things. Like I'll be able to see to it. So until the due date is not, due date is available. So all the names are available. So once the due date is available and my marking, I have not given the score. The score is there automatically only for those students. The scoring will be available. So this is how using a Google Classroom you can collect your attendance. Now let me tell you how to take attendance by means of your Google Meet. So go to Google Meet. So before going to Google Meet, there is something known as Chrome Web Store. Go to Chrome Web Store. This can be downloaded by means of your Google Chrome. So go open your Google Chrome and type Chrome Web Store. Automatically your Chrome Web Store gets open. There you can type Google Meet attendance. There are three types of attendance extra fittings that they have given for a meeting. So first I'll tell you one by one. What I have used is Google Meet attendance. Click on that. It will ask you like, do you want it to be available on your Chrome? Yes, I do want it. So add it as an extension. Yes, I do want to do it. So now it comes over there. You can see at the top bottom, there is a tick mark. Once this has been available, I'll be able to. And after doing the settings, now I should open a new meeting. I am continuing it. I'm joining it. Now with the left hand side, I can find this is known as my class list. Who are the class students who have been entering inside? So now like as soon as I enter, I can find only me. I am available. So now I have given an invite. As soon as I give an invite, I can find one more student entering inside. So now the attendance is available. 2 participants are available. You can find here there is a save symbol. So save attendance as CSV file. Click on that. Once you click on that, automatically your file gets downloaded. It tells you very clearly these 2 students, when did they arrive. The first students came by 21:19 and the second student came by 21:21. So what time they came in, everything is available. There are 2 more things which has been available. One is Meet attendance. You can just type Meet attendance. You'll get it over here. So click on that. Add as extension. So now you can say a different symbol. This is a different extension of it. So these all are extensions. In Google Meet, you can use all this extension from Chrome web servers. You can make it available. So now you can find that as soon as you open your Google Meet, it will show like tick marks. And now like I have asked some other students also to add into it. So I have one more entry. It automatically makes into 2. So now I have to click it. Once I click on that, I can find the 2 entries over there. So this at the starting of the meeting, I can make it. At the end of the meeting, again, one more time, I can make an attendance. Now there are 4 people. Now I can find this. So initially, how many of them were there? Later on, how many late entries? You can identify the late entries. You can sort this and all this can be also done. So even in the middle, 4 was there. At the end, again, 2 was only there. So you can find all this. One more thing which is available to take attendance is Google Meet attendance collector is there. So this is also a product of Chrome. So you can click on that. So once it has been available, here you do not want to do anything. Only refresh and download button is required. So you just click on the above one and it will ask you, do you want to refresh? Yes, I want to refresh. As soon as you give refresh and download, the file get downloaded. So now there is only one member. who have entered at the point of at the time when I took my attendance 20 to 10. This person was available. So again, after some time, I refresh and again download. I can find 2 people are available. But here, whenever I take attendance, that's how it comes. The first one which we saw, each student, whenever he got inside the meeting, can be seen. So it depends on your requirement. How do you require? You can assign. These all are extra fittings out of your Google Meet to take your attendance. Okay. So apart from this, the last part of the presentation is deleting, moving, and copying a classroom. Once you have created a classroom, I want to edit this classroom. Just go. There is 3 dot which has been available. Make a click on it. Edit class that comes over there. So in edit class, you can edit anything, your room, your subject, your section. So I made a correction in the room number. Saved, make a save. Automatically it gets saved off. I can copy the classroom again and again. I do not want to each time go and create a classroom. Just copy this and I can do some changes. Maybe I have 3 sections of classes. For 3 sections, same subject I'm teaching. So I can just copy and do a duplication. So copies everything until like your title, your section, description, your topic, class post, everything comes, but they don't copy. Your teacher's announcement does not come over there. Any deleted works you cannot see. Your students can be seen. Your co-teachers can be seen. Your student post can be seen. You can also see your attachments that you have made for your permissions can also be seen. So now you're coming over here, give a copy. So copy of it comes as copy of. If you want to make a change in this, you can make a change. If not, just it copies and you can find a duplication of the same thing. So now we can find there is 0 students because students you have to newly add as it is a different class. It only makes a classroom attachment, title and all those remains. I can also move this class here up and down. So like a move class to the end, I want to bring this. I can move this. I can give a delete. Delete is archive. So archive is like I delete from here, but provided all the details are available in Google Drive in the folder known as classroom. So that is the meaning for archive. So anytime I can archive from my Google Drive. So archive or delete a class, you can do. So archive can be done. Once you archive everything, the class gets deleted from your account. Okay. The same like a teacher, a student can also unenroll from a class. So if I do not want to remain in the same class, for the student, this is how he can either move, he can unenroll or report abuse. So now like unenroll himself, he can give an unenrolling. Now that classroom leaves out of his classroom page. Now the main important thing is he will not be able to rejoin in this class once more until he get an invitation from the teacher. He has to go to the teacher and tell the teacher unknowingly it has got unenrolled. So now the teacher again has to give an invite. Only after the invite has been given to the student will be able to come into the class once more if he has given an unenrolled. So that's all from my end. I have covered the Google Classroom as such. Any doubts, please do type in the chat window. I'll be able to clarify it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for the presentation. It was very informative and helpful. And I just want to invite Mr. Mani sir, a very special Mani sir. I'm very glad to introduce. He's an eminent career mentor with over 3 decades of experience and a famous personality among HR fraternity and a vice president institution development ITM group of institution. He's a chief mentor of PGDM and MBA program across our ITM group, and he's also a president of Bombay Management Association. We are happy to have you here, sir. I would like to have you to give a few words here, sir.
Thank you so much, Indu. I think let's allow the participants to interact with Ajita first. I'm here for some time and I'll share some of my thoughts and perspectives at the end of that. Is that fine?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Not an issue. So I request all the participants who has a queries with regards to today's session, you can unmute yourself and then you can ask your questions directly to Dr. Ajita.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, yes, sir. Tell me, sir.
Hello, ma'am. This is Arvind from SRM Ramapuram, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
My question is there any possibility to conduct many tests in an advance, ma'am? I mean, to schedule a test in an advance.
Schedule your test in advance, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir. You have the option of scheduling on which time, which For example, on Monday at 9 o'clock, if you are scheduling, you can schedule it, because once you create all your MCQs or
Okay,
the
ma'am.
format in which you require, you have the option of either posting it suddenly, scheduling it
Yes.
for a later time, or saving and keeping in a draft and posting it later. So now, like, you want to schedule it, you can go and create the schedule button, click on your schedule, and give your date and time when this has to be posted. Automatically it get posted. Monday morning 10 o'clock is your exam. You give your scheduling time and your date. So automatically at 10 o'clock, it will for example, if it is 10 o'clock, sharply 10 o'clock you want, or 9:59, you can give your time, automatically get posted. They get an email also, and automatically they can come towards your classwork page and see in your streaming page, it gets posted over there. You can do your scheduling. And you can also give
Okay.
your due time, the same day, like 10 o'clock, the exam starts, MCQ. And by 10:30, if you want to finish, in due date, you have to give your the same date, but the timing is 10:30. Automatically, before 10:30, they should be able to submit it. Else, the exam gets cancelled automatically. Until what they have done, it remains as unsubmitted.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Participants, you
Have
have
any
any other
questions in the chat box?
in chat box? There is a question from a participant asking for the. Is there any way that we can able to conduct a live poll, ma'am?
Live?
Poll with a student, like we just take a poll from the classroom, right?
Yes.
So is there
A
any
live
chance of
poll
way
can
that
be made by means of how we are taking your attendance. I told you, like, question is there. So go to your classwork page, click on your create, and there is something known as your question. In question, you can lively create all your polls and post it. And there is something known as due date, and there you can maybe within 15 minutes you require to finish it off. Just post it as such, and after 15 minutes you can give your timing. At the same moment, it will get posted. So that's how you have to create a poll. Get you into your classwork, click your create, click your question. In question, we at the last slides we were seeing how to take an attendance in Google Classroom. The same way, at the last you have to give your polls, multiple choice polls, what do you think about a person? Multiple choices are being given. As soon as 5 minutes of time, they poll it. You send it at the same moment. You can send it down from Google Classroom, and automatically it gets polled. Or you can schedule it previously, even by 3 o'clock, it automatically gets into their mail ID, and automatically in Google Classroom, it gets over there. You can do polling by means of question.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Hope Dr. Ramesh finds us an answer. And I would like to. There is a question from Shiva Sankari. Is it possible for students to present a paper in Google Classroom regarding assignments?
Ma'am, presenting a paper can be done by means of Google Meet. Your student can be any documents related can be submitted by means of Google Classroom, and you can link your Google Meet along with your Google Classroom. So automatically by means of Google Meet, you will be able to present a paper, whatever happens. So paper can be again during, if you have some instruction, you can attach your files to them, or if they want to submit in advance, they have to use their assignment format. You have to create some assignments for them, and you have to send them so that they'll be able to send back to us. And apart from that, they'll not be able to communicate to us. We have to send them a link so that they'll be able to come back to us. So like, for example, if it is a live project, you can create a link as a submission of live project report, so that they'll be able to submit their report. You can view to it, and your live thing can happen only by means of Google Meet.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. And there is a question from Shiva Kumar. Is there any option for creating a multiple choice questions?
Yes, sir. In quiz assignments, what I have told is I have shown you all the possibilities of creations, but mandatorily it is if you are going with your multiple choice question, that is the best way. Automatically, it autocorrects, so that you do not want to wait and evaluate it for grading and everything. It autocorrects and gives you the grading. So multiple choice questions you can be done by means of quiz assignments.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. So participants, do you have if any queries, you can post it in the chat box, or else you can unmute yourself and you can ask the questions directly to Dr. Ajita. Yes, there is a participant called Galaxy J7 Prime is raising the hand. So is there anything that you want to communicate? Please do post a question in the chat box, sir or ma'am.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, shall we mark what we have presented in the assignments in Google Classroom? Is it possible to mark the questions?
Sir, pardon me once more.
What we assigned question papers in Google Classroom, is it possible to correction marking?
Yes, sir.
What we have given questions, we have to check the answers. Is it possible to marking?
Yes, sir.
Marking.
Yes, great. That's what I told in the grading session. Like you have to go
Yeah.
to your classwork, create assignment, or quiz assignment. You will be giving your questions. Or assignments are there. We use this
Yeah.
rubric already to evaluate based on what evaluations, or automatically there is something known as grade which has been available in the left side. You can go through it and evaluate. For 10 marks, if you are able to give 6, you can grade it over there, or 8 or 10, that can also be graded.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. When we are giving mathematics papers, is it possible to mark for that? Only we have to check answers. That's all, isn't
Sir,
it?
I told something known as highlighting. So you can
Yeah.
highlight those options and tell them that you can write over there. There is a mistake over here. You have done the calculation wrongly. Those things can be done.
Yes, sir.
Because as it comes
Yeah.
as
Thank you.
virtual, you will not have a hand-in-hand moment, but this can be done.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Participants, any other queries?
Hello, ma'am. I'm Shailesh
Yes,
from Thane, and very good session, madam. Although I was using this Google Classroom, but I came to know a lot of things more than my routine.
Thank you, sir.
So just I wanted to one more thing that regarding the assessment part.
Yes.
Once we do the assignment, but if I want to suppose I want to give the elaborative feedback, like summative feedback to any students that what exactly has done. Do we have any attachment sort of thing that I have not seen here? Sort of forms, because I will have to prepare individual form to individual students.
So do you want during evaluation, do you want to attach a different form, or they have to attach and send you back?
No, they will send me a report. Suppose I have given them project, they submitted a project. Now I have to give them feedback to individual. So there is a comment option where we put. But apart from that, do we have any option like a form or anything like the attachment of Word files or that individually?
So individually, if you want to send, either you should have created that form and send it even very early. We don't do that because student will come to know what evaluation will be done. Only rubric we use, so that is not possible. Only you can scroll through the document, and here and there, wherever you want to comment, you can highlight and show your comments. That is only possible.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
It was very wonderful session, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, once more. Somebody was there?
No, there is something with our mic issues, it seems. So also there is a question from Sarita.
Okay.
So she's been asking, is it possible to write options during class taking?
Like individually on a whiteboard or something?
So she wasn't that elaborate. Ma'am, Sarita ma'am, is it possible that you can unmute yourself and ask your questions?
So like, I don't know what she's meaning, but let me tell you, there is something known as Jamboard. How we share I told you how to share this YouTube link automatically by means of this cast. The same way, there is something known as Jamboard, which is purely for writing on the screen. So you can share using your Google Meet, you can share the Jamboard, and in Jamboard you can write and show whatever you want to write. That option is available. Inbuilt within Google Classroom, we don't have anything. Now, like you have to telecast this Jamboard in your Google Meet. You have to present that screen, and then you can write it on it. That is possible.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Participants, do you have any other queries or questions with respect to today's session for Dr. Jita ma'am? Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Indra.
Manisa, I would like to have a few words
Sure.
from you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm joining you all the way from Mumbai. And as we say in today's world, I have come in just now by Zoom Airlines. So I've just landed and come straight into the session. I think that's the wonder of this word called technology. I'm very delighted to tell you that in 1991, when we started ITM, we called it the Institute for Technology and Management, because at that time we felt that two things can change the world. One is technology, and second is how we manage the technology. And I think today's presentation by Ajita, and this is the second time I'm attending a similar presentation and trying to become a little wiser on how to use Google Classroom, just demonstrates this one thing. I think all of us who are teachers, professors, HODs, and senior people from the academic fraternity in this meeting will remember what we kept saying time and again, that with changing technology, we have to learn first to unlearn. So our entire process now consists of unlearning, learning, and in the process, relearning. So we are used to what we called, my generation, you can see all the gray hair on my beard, was used to something called chalk and talk. Suddenly it was all replaced by audio visuals, where everybody started using PowerPoint. So much so that students used to say that if the PowerPoint doesn't work, we can't make a presentation. I'm sure you've heard this excuse before. But today we are saying, can I deliver learning across locations? And it's fantastic to see so many of you from so many different colleges present for this learning session. I think this just confirms one thing, that the post-COVID world is going to be one of collaboration. Would it have ever been so easy for us, all of us, to get together on a Zoom platform and share ideas, views with each other? I'm so glad that some of you said that you do use Google Classroom, but you did get some inputs today after interacting with Ajita. I think that is where the power of collaboration comes in. Unfortunately, in the education world, we are used to so much of competition. We are so worried about what are the things happening in other colleges. How should I grab the student before he goes to a competitive institution? I mean, honestly, how does it matter? As long as the child is going to a good institution and is adding value and building his or her career. I think we need to have this collaborative effort among all of us in the teaching fraternity. Let's also remember the world has changed so fast, and the young generation kids of today have a different vocabulary to follow. I sometimes wonder, if you ask a kid today, A for Apple, no, for all I know, that small child would say A for Amazon Prime, because the child is watching so much of it at home, with or without the parents at home. Suddenly the dictionary is going to change. I'm worried if someone will say B for blockchain, C for cyber world, D for drone, and then it will continue. So what I'm trying to tell you is the world has changed so fast around us. For all of us teachers, unless we change with changing times, we might find it difficult to cope up with the expectations of the students. Initially, when the teacher was evolved in an educational institution like management schools or higher education institutions, we were only teaching the student, we were telling the student. Today, Google tells everything to the student. But then what do you and I do? Our job is to distill the information available on Google and convert it to knowledge which the student can understand. It is this role which becomes very, very critical for you and me as teachers. So don't ever worry if someone told you, with all this digital, if I'm going to have Google Classroom, if I'm going to record all my presentations, if somebody is going to correct all the papers on multiple choice and give all the answers to the students and also prepare the mark list, what is it that the teacher, you and me, are going to do? But trust me, I'm not at all worried, because even to handle that Google Classroom, even to handle Zoom, it requires expertise, which only the human mind is capable of. Be honest and answer this question for yourself. 1 year ago, how many of you were using Zoom? And I think the answer will be less than 5%. We were used to something called Skype. It's disappeared almost now. A few people still use it, but everyone talks about Google Meet. Everyone talks about Zoom. And therefore, I don't think we have any reason to worry, because I have this very favorite thought which I read somewhere. And for this, you need to have a little understanding of Hindi, which I'll explain to you after I finish speaking. And they say the technology might change from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G. But don't worry, nobody can replace Guruji. Guruji in Hindi means the teacher, the guru. What you would otherwise say in Tamil, Vadyar Stanathla Irpanga. Yeah, I'm a Tamilian, and I'm very proud of the fact that I was born and brought up in Tanjavur before I shifted to Mumbai. But the point I was trying to make is, don't worry if technology changes. It might even have 5G, but no one can replace Guruji. So thank you very much, all of you, for coming in and being part of this learning process. I'd like to compliment our campus head, Gulshan Kumar, for initiating such wonderful ideas to interact with professionals of other colleges and institutions. And I'm so thrilled to see faculty like Dr. Ajita and several others in our campus who have risen to the occasion and tried to do not only add to their skills and competencies, but happily share this with colleagues in the academic fraternity. I must tell you, just yesterday, Dr. Ajita did a program for a leading corporate organization to refresh all the trainers in that organization as to how to use Google Classroom like a professional. So learning is not enough, ladies and gentlemen. The intent to share, the desire to share, and the ability to share is what will make you an outstanding teacher and also a good human being. I think that is the requirement of the day today. It is time to move from competition to collaboration. And I think that's something which ITM has always believed in. At any point in time, if you think we as faculty of ITM group can help you in refreshing your knowledge about any area in management, engineering, architecture, hospitality, health sciences, just reach across to Gulshan. We will make this happen for you, because we believe that collaboration is the key to success, particularly in the field of education, and not competition. Thank you very much for your attention. I know you came to learn Google Classroom, but when I learned that so many educational professionals were here, when Gulshan invited me to join in, I said I must take the opportunity to share some of my thoughts. And you know, when you're a professor for 35 years, you just need a classroom to start talking, and then one goes on and on and on. And of course, in the digital world, you can switch off and go away, but I don't think you will do that, because all of you are in the same profession and know how easy or how difficult it is to grab the attention of students. I know many of you do work from home now, because once again, there is a lot of problems in Tamil Nadu. The lockdown has been imposed. And it's so nice to see that some of you are still surviving all the constraints at home and still coming to learn. I heard a baby crying, and that was such a pleasant sight, because you're at home, you have to manage home. You're not only working from home, you're also working for home. Don't feel guilty about it. These times will also pass, and I'm sure, as we tell all our colleagues in ITM, all these problems will sort out by itself. All the setbacks will go away, and we will come back stronger. We will come back better challenged, and I think we'll come back more successful. Thank you very much. I'd like to say God bless to all of you, and continue the journey of learning.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot for sparing out your valuable time for us and sharing great insights. Thanks a ton for joining, sir.
Most welcome.
Thank you all the participants also. Indu, you may now close it formally. Thank you.
Thank you, Gulshan.
Sir, Gulshan sir, excuse me.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Gulshan sir, I am from
Yes.
Maldives.
Yes, sir.
So could you please arrange this type of programs in future also? We are expecting from you.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, sir. I would just like to reiterate on that.
Really very useful for me, sir. I am from Maldives. So I have now attended many things in Google Classroom. I faced many problems. After attending this Dr. S. Ajita Miss Classroom, then I have learned many things from this class. So I have many doubts, now clarified everything. So that is very thankful for Mani sir and Gulshan sir and Ajita Miss. Thank you very much for this class. So in future also I am expecting from you many things like this.
Thank you, sir. Thanks a lot. We do keep on conducting digital classes, webinars.
Yeah.
Till now, we have we have done some 20 odd webinars with the industry experts. We continuously FDPs and MDPs, and we'll make a point that we are reaching out to you for all our upcoming webinars and FDPs and MDPs, and look forward to have you over here in all such sessions. And thank you for the feedback, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, participants, for the valuable questions that you've been asked during the session. And thank you so much, Ajita ma'am. So you put your soul into that, and then you just formed each and every screenshot without even delay. That it's something like that we are just watching that you're going through each and everything's in lively. So that was the feel that we got, which we can able to connect it very naturally when it comes to the things that you're teaching to our participants. That was very, very, very helpful for us. That was a very much positive way that the people can able to relate with. Thank you so much for the hard work that you've been put up into this presentation. That was very much informative, ma'am. Thank you so much for that. And thank you all the participants who have been presented over here and just given a valuable questions throughout the session that gives some other participants also the knowledge of and clarifies their doubt also. Thank you so much for participating in this, and thank you so much, Gulshan sir, for giving the opportunity for all the people to get into this valuable things. And I think so Professor Mani sir has also joined. Okay, thank you so much all the people for joining, and we will be having a same faculty development program dated of 27th of June with the same timing of 4 p.m. With one of our speaker, Pintu, with the topic of evaluation and feedback. All the other details will be communicated through an email and as well as phone calls to you people. So I'll be wishing to have all of your faces to be presented on 27th also. Thank you so much, Mani sir, that your optimistic sound waves have been reaching here, that it was so contagious and it is very boost for us when it comes to your presence in whatever the webinars or FDPs or workshops that we are conducting. When you're present, it was very, very, very good feeling that we are getting. The vibe was very, very nice, sir. Thank you so much for here, and I would like to have you on future sessions also.
Certainly. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, participants. Thank you, everyone. Ma'am, your mic is on mute.
Thank you, Indu, for giving me a very warm vote of thanks, which I didn't expect. And thank you so much for the management of ITM for giving me this opportunity. Even if you know something to do, if the opportunity has not been given, we will not be able to exhibit. I hope the opportunity is more important. Only given for me is very important. Only those made me to express those things. Thank you so much, ITM management, Gulshan sir and Mani sir, for giving this opportunity. Thank you so much. Indu, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. And to all the participants, even if you have any queries with respect to the Google Classroom sessions in future, please do reach out to us and we'll be try to give you answers within 2 days of time. Thank you.